Well, good evening, folks. This is Dave Schmidt. I'm your host here again tonight on the Cosmic Connections, and this is our September 27th program. And it's always nice to have everybody here. And yes, that's right. I'm actually here 2 weeks in a row. It's been a while since I've done that, isn't it? So I haven't gone anywhere for the last, 10 days or something like that. I've been here at home. But all is well for me here. I am planning on going back and visiting in Sedona next week. Hopefully, I can get a live program from where I'm staying there. But as of now, everything is well. So, now, for the program this week, just a couple announcements. First of all, again, a week from Saturday, we have the workshop in Phoenix. It's going to be, I'm trying to remember the hotel name, but it's just right on the direct north side of the airport on 44th Avenue there in Phoenix, but all that information is on the website. Okay, so obviously, always, we would love to have you there at the workshop in Phoenix. And as I always say, and this is because the people who attend the workshops help this program keep going, is that those who attend the workshops will be the first ones to be paid when it's time for the currency exchange to be paid. So, with that, I don't have any new update specific other than the fact that myself and others who are intimately involved in this feel things are getting very, very close. We have to remember that this currency exchange is basically change. It's not just us that's in this. This is a major global affair, and it changes the global financial structure. And so those are decisions that come from the very, very top for when this is going to happen. And with that type of a scenario, it's basically going to take, as I said, it's going to take place through certain conditions need to develop. Now, myself personally and others have felt that the current cabal-based fiat currency system either has to go away or it has to be neutered. Now, the newsletter that came out from Ben Fulford this week was very, very good. And folks, if you don't subscribe to Ben Fulford and you want to really know what's going on behind the scenes in the shadow world, he's one of the best sources of that. And you can find him at benjaminfulford.net. And then what you do have to do, he does ask for a subscription because, but it's minor. You can, I think, pay $5 a month for it or something. But his information is very, very good. And he basically laid out a scenario in his recent newsletter on Monday saying that the cabal structure is close to going down. The political structure. What we call this Khazarian Mafia cabal-controlled political structure is about ready to go down. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be killed. It just means that I use the term they're going to be neutered. Their power is going to go away, and it allows a new structure to come in and to replace it, and especially in what is all of what we would call the financial structure, because that's what we're interested in here. So now, with that, I have been saying, for those of you that are involved in the currency exchange, this stuff changes. So there is no such thing as a round one and a round two anymore, folks. It's all now. You have to be in now. And how do you get into this exchange? Well, in the past, see, I had collected the physical currencies and then I sent them to what was called the Texas Processing Office. Well, they ended up with a huge abundance of the Vietnamese dong, and that's the currency that I use. So instead of you going out and buying it off of, Amazon or whoever knows where and sending it to me and then I send it to them and you become one of my clients, they are asking us to purchase it from them. And you do that through me. Now remember, the Texas Processing Office does not operate as brokers. They are basically the processing center, and they use brokers like me, and I am what is called an aggregator. I aggregate people underneath me. You are all my clients, and then I am a single client with the Texas Processing Office, where everything takes place. So to do that, you basically have to send me an email saying you want to be involved in this currency exchange. And you can come in for as little as $62. And what that will do is that it will purchase you 1 million Vietnamese dong, and the dong is scheduled to pay out at $1.50. So in essence, your $62 turns into 1.5 million. Now, for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you get it. You understand it. I've told you about why this happens, where this money comes from, what is the purpose behind all of this. And all of you that are with me, you have also all signed a non-disclosure agreement. Here's the issue. You can share this with friends and family. I just don't want this massively broadcast out there on the internet. For our safety and our security, it needs to stay very, very low key. But there's room for more people to come in that want to be a part of this. And if you want, you can purchase an additional 5 million dong. All you have to do is send me an email. I have to have the request coming from you. And then when I do that, I follow up with an email that has the payment link that you can use any debit or credit card. And you either get those in the 5 million lots, or you can have those in lots of 1, 2, 3, 4 million, less than that, at $62 each, however you want that. But folks, what is happening is, see, the people at the processing office, they have X number of dollars that they get to put out for all of this. And they thought there was going to be a lot more people coming in. And what happens is that their funds grow. When they have this pot of funds, it's invested, so it continues to grow the longer we go on. So that means there's more money to put out there. So that way we can purchase more dong from them. So that's the scenario, okay? And if you've got friends or family that would like to be involved in this and they trust you, have them send me an email. If they're not quite certain about it, have them go to my website, thecosmicconnections.wordpress.com, and then click on the workshop tabs for the workshop videos. And that basically is a condensed version of my workshop that explains who we are, why we got this, where this money comes from, what's the purpose of it, and it's the background of everything that goes on in this currency exchange. Okay, so that's basically it. That's the kind of the background information that I gave. Now, last week, I talked about what is called the coming development. And again, I refer to what is called that Neruda interview, Dr. Jameson Neruda, that was put out by the wingmakers.com. And this was about 25 years ago. And it's one of the most prophetic things that I've ever seen around what was coming our way. They talked about what Neruda said. Well, first of all, if you don't have access to that, you can go to my website, go to the resources tab, and then you're going to find the Neruda interviews under there in PDF format. Okay? It's also available on the wingmakers.com website in Audible format, where you can just listen to it in an Audible format. Neruda had basically said that we were moving into a new era of humanity, and he called it Humanity 3.0. Humanity 1.0 was basically what we call the Cro-Magnon, the caveman era. Humanity 2.0 has been the Homo sapiens sapiens, that's us, with lots and lots of upgrades over the thousands and thousands of years. And he says we are now going through a complete major shift in human history. And we're going to move into Humanity 3.0, but there's going to be two versions. One version is going to be basically those that are controlled by artificial intelligence. It's going to be the artificial intelligence, the transhumanist agenda version. These are the people who are going to go along with the system that the cabal is going to throw at us. The Khazarian Mafia controllers of this world are going to throw at us, because that is going to be their new system of power and control. In the past, they have kept power and control by controlling the money and controlling the information. And they're losing that power and control. They're losing the information control because the internet has now allowed us to learn the truth for ourselves and to share it with each other. They're losing the control of the money system because the money system is going to change, okay? But their new form of power and control over humanity is going to be using this transhumanist agenda with the advancement of technology and the advance of artificial intelligence to be able to control people, even down to the point where they can control their thoughts and what they're hearing, that even this, because what's happening is, now, I've heard this, and I'm only sharing what I've told you, is that there is the availability in food, drinks, and everything to have these little tiny microchips that we would basically take into our bodies, and they become a communication source that the satellites can communicate with, and they can influence our thoughts. They can influence what we think, and they can send kind of subtle messages to us. But it's important to know what Neruda said. We have the ability to overcome that and to rise above it. These are people that operate in what we call a low vibration consciousness. And so they're basically sending low vibration thoughts, and these communication forms, they are attached to operate and to manipulate at a low vibration state. But if we, as humans, choose to keep ourselves in a high vibrational state of thoughts and in our bodies, we rise above it and it cannot impact us. Our job is to be high vibrational people. Now, last week, I shared with you some of the most important books in my life. And it's interesting because in this book, Jesus, My Autobiography, which is a channeled book, he says you have to keep yourself in a very, very high vibrational state. And what is the highest vibrational state there is? It's the vibration of love. And he was the master of that. He always had love and acceptance for people. And he kept himself in that state. What are the contrasts? What are the low vibrational thought patterns? And before I get into that, he also shares, and so many other sources are sharing, your thoughts, the energy, the vibrational energy of your thoughts control your life. Your thoughts create your reality. If you want to be in a high energy vibrational state, then you need to keep yourself in high energy vibrational thoughts and not allow yourself to fall into a low vibrational state. What are the lowest vibrational states? Fear is number one. Fear will tear you down, will lower you down, will take away your creativity, take away your responsiveness, your awareness more than anything else. Fear is a powerful, demoralizing energy. It's so important that you allow yourself to stay away from and out of fear and to rise above fear and to learn how to overcome any fear that comes your way. And what is the second one? Judgment. As soon as you move into judging others, you've lowered your vibrational status because you're not operating from a perspective of love, high vibration. You're operating from a perspective of judgment, which is a low vibration. Jesus said, you keep yourself in a high vibrational state all the time. Now, I'm going to share something I've never shared here on the program, and it's somewhat controversial based on what is maybe some of your Christian or religious background issues. But what Jesus had said, the highest vibrational experience of divine vibration that you can experience is the sexual orgasm. Why do we call sex making love? Because that's what you're doing in the orgasm. You're generating this powerful energy of love. And what is an orgasm experience? It's a very powerful, energetic, explosive experience is what it is. It's an explosion of very high, powerful, loving energy. The orgasm opens up your heart chakra. It expands the heart chakra. And then also it connects you with the person that you are with. And you begin moving into this power of what is called the oneness scenario. And he always had said that it's very important that you understand the true purpose of sex. Our culture has demeaned it, turning it, it's dirty, it's not all that great, you shouldn't be doing it, only doing it in certain ways and certain people, blah, 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 blah. this, what I call the Khazarian Mafia, the controllers, they took it because they knew its real true power, and so they degraded it to make it think of it as less than what it truly is. The sexual experience, the sexual orgasm, is the divine gift of operating in a high explosive, powerful, high vibrational energy with the person that you're with. I remember once listening to Barbara Marciniak and the Palladians. And the Palladians said, it says, you humans, you need to be having lots and lots of good sexual orgasms because that's how you will change the energy of your environment around you. Now, that's a little different for me to come out and be saying something like that, but it's the true aspect of it, what it's intended to be for, what its true purpose is when it's operated in its healthy and complete manner. We as humans, as we operate and keep ourselves in a high, powerful vibrational state, we are the ones that will set the tone for the new coming world. Now, when Neruda said there were going to be the two versions, one, the transhumanist, and he said the other was the sovereign integral. Now, it took them a while, but he finally came out with his paper called The Sovereign Integral, A New Model of Existence by James Mahu. Okay? It's about 40 or 50 pages in a PDF format. And he basically starts out talking about consciousness. And what is consciousness? It's another form of awareness. But let me just read a couple phrases. He says, consciousness is the most important subject that is the least understood. Consciousness is elusive to the measurements and detections of science because it is perfectly subjective. Understanding consciousness is decidedly undervalued in our culture. And interestingly, consciousness is not a real subject. He said the sum total of agreed definitions of soul would fill one sentence. Soul is generally thought to be our spiritual center, eternal self of God, the Creator. It says, but consciousness, on the other hand, is not the exclusive domain of any particular religious or spiritual organization. It is the one thing that is completely present and infinite, and therefore consciousness is inclusive of all things. So what I use the term is consciousness is a matter of awareness. As we move into a higher state of consciousness, as we keep ourselves in a higher state of energy being, we're going to find ourselves moving into what is called a new world. Here's what I experience. I don't experience fear anymore. It's extremely rare for me to experience fear. And last week I shared that there are a lot of different sources saying that the world that we live in is a holographic illusion. So what that means is to keep ourselves in a high awareness consciousness state. Even though we live in these third dimensional physical bodies and we have this world that goes on all around us, it's important that we don't allow ourselves to get caught up into the energy of what's going on around us. And what I say that is we become observers of the events around us versus participants of the events around us. So if you see and observe something that's really dumb and stupid going on, you don't move into thoughts of judgment because that's going to lower your energy. You just look at it and you go, oh, you observe it. You don't bring energy into the issue. That helps us rise above whatever goes on around us. I'm still working at it, but I have pretty much allowed myself, for the most part, to come into that point. Remember, I was involved in politics for well over 20 years. For 12 years, I was an elected official. I ended my political career as a state senator in Washington State. And if you want to talk about a drama-filled profession, it was politics. A lot of drama, a lot of energy involved in it, everything that we were going on. And I was always energetically involved in so many of the different things, and there's always all kinds of debate that's going on in politics. So politics has the ability to draw you in, to suck you in, and to keep you in judgment thoughts of a low vibrational state. I've come to the point now where I just observe it and I let it be, because I have learned the difference of how to be an observer of what goes on. And whatever is going on in this world politically, good, bad, or indifferent, I understand it's just a holographic illusion, and it's energetically, it's trying to suck me in to draw me down, when my job is to stay and rise above it. Now, I want to share again what I shared last week, the currency exchange. Why are we here? Why are these trillions of dollars going to be released? This isn't about you and I becoming rich so that we can rise above whatever this, pitiful world wants to throw at us and we can take care of ourselves. No, it's about allowing you to be independently wealthy so you can be free from the slavery of your job, and that you have the resources to live on your own, and then you have the time to do the consciousness work. There are a number of different sources that will tell you it's the subconscious mind within us that controls and dominates our lives. 95% of our day is lived from the programming in our subconscious mind that we have developed. How we react, how we observe, what we do with whatever comes up in our face at any given moment, it comes from the programming in our subconscious mind. But it's just that. It's a program. And the program can be rewritten. You can rewrite the programs in your subconscious mind to how you react and how you respond to whatever comes up in front of your face, so you keep yourself in a high, loving, vibrational state. And Jesus was the master. He was the master at that. That's how he lived his life. He always chose to see things from a perspective of love. And if there was a crisis going on around him, he recognized the crisis was just a call for love, is all that it was. These are the things that were very, very powerful. Gregory, you said, I'm responding to one of the comments here that has come up on Facebook. Gregory says, would you tell us the teaching of Jesus book that you were talking about? We would love to read that. Hold on here just a second. Give me just 1 minute and I'll go, quick. I'll go back and get the books. Okay, This is the best one. It's called Jesus, My Autobiography by Tina Louise Spalding. It's a channeled book. He basically is using her as the channel, and it's him channeling all the way through, and it's him telling his story. The other one that really reflects those teachings, but it doesn't necessarily talk about him, is this one called The Sophia Code by Kaya Ra. Now remember, folks, I was a religion major in college, so I've been around this stuff for about 45 years. And we have always been taught that we refer to God as the masculine. That came from the Anunnaki, that they wanted to program into us so we would depreciate the true value of what we would call the God of heaven. What Jesus is saying, what the Sophia Code is saying, and what a lot of these other books are saying, Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, is the book. They will tell you that the true essence of the God of heaven is not masculine, but it's feminine. Because the feminine is the divine energy, it's the powerful energy, it's the creative energy. And I'm not referring to gender when I say this. I'm referring to what is called the energy, whether it's feminine-based energy or whether it's masculine-based energy. And what Sophia Code and the others say is the feminine-based energy is the creative, the original creative energy. And then what the feminine creates, the masculine takes and puts it into practice or puts it into form and puts it to work. So it always starts first with the feminine side. And what all of them are saying, in fact, Jesus, when you read his autobiography book, you will see that he was the master at bringing the balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The culture at the time was very masculine oriented, and he was heavily criticized by the scribes and Pharisees because he exalted the feminine position. He exalted the female position. He exalted the women teachers is what he did. And he always used the term of the balance of what was called mother-father God. He included both. He understood that very well, that there had to be the balance between the masculine and the feminine when we are predominantly in a masculine-dominated world today that's still with us for thousands of years. It's starting to change as the rise of the feminine is coming back up, and we're seeing the value of that. And the Sophia Code is the one that will do that in the best way, because they will say that they call the God of heaven Sophia. That's her name and not his name, is what they say. Okay, so I've been going for almost a half hour here tonight. I think I've pretty much shared everything I want to share, unless some of you have some other questions that are in there. I think we've been going so pretty good here. I've shared about, okay, what's coming up. We don't have any exact updates on the currency exchange, and remember, it's extremely important to know that the processors will never pre-release the announcement of the funds for security reasons, because it needs to be done, it needs to start out in a quiet process so it's safe for all of us. Myself and others, we've been to the Texas processing office. We've seen the bank accounts. We know that the money is there. We know where it comes from, and we know that it is real, and we know what its purpose is. So you're blessed to be a part of this process. And again, if you would like to increase the amount of dong you want in the participation of this, send me an email, and then I will respond back to you, because there's a lot more funds that they have available. Okay, so now let's do this. I always go to a time of allowing people to call in with questions or comments. And so if you have any questions or comments, the number to call is 515-605-9356. Again, it's 515-605-9356. Press 1 on your touch-tone phone. That lets you know that you would like to come on the air and you got a comment or a question. Now, there's always a little bit of a time delay. So yeah, I think from the time that I tell you this, there's about a 10 to 15 second delay before you hear it. But one person has already said that they want to call in, and they'd like to make some comments, and it's area code 918. So we'll go to you. All right, come on. Why are you not? I'm trying to click on 918, and it's not allowing me to click on it. I'm clicking on it, and it's not allowing it to come up, and I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Okay, 918. You're on the air. What can I help you with?
Yeah, Brother Dave. I bought some more dong the other day on that site you gave me. Have you sent me a receipt yet, or I'm not looking for the right email?
Well, send me an email, and I'll check. And I send receipts to everybody that sends it in, but sometimes the email gets sent back from my email, the Sedona Connection, not Dave Schmidt, and sometimes that goes into a junk mail folder. So check your.
I see.
But well, first of all, I don't even know your name, and I don't know who you are, and you don't need to tell me that on the air. Send me an email saying that you haven't got a receipt. Would you please have me double check on it? Okay?
Okay. Do you want me to send it to which email address?
Well, you can send it to Dave Schmidt at MSN.com or the Sedona Connection at MSN.com. They all come to the same inbox. Okay?
Okay, I'll send you. I have a feeling it may end up in junk mail. I just curious.
It might have, but I can double check on it for your receipt. Okay?
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Okay, right, thanks a lot. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay, so that was the only person that I've got that kind of had that raised their hand that they had a comment or a question tonight. So okay, all right. So let's see here. Then I think we're probably pretty much ready to call it an evening. We've been going just a little over a half hour tonight, folks. And now I am planning on being in Sedona next week. So it depends on where I'm at, whether or not there's good internet connection there. So I won't know if I'm going to have a program or not, but we'll find out when next week rolls around. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. And I think we're ready to call it an evening. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.